Testing 1 2. I'm gonna switch spot. Testing 1. Sound better?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna grab that other microphone.
Okay.
I ran up here and I heard some ringing whenever you were talking.
Okay. I have 3 minutes.
Testing 1 2. Okay. Microphone for here. I'm gonna leave it off, but they just switch it on. I was taped because you can see the green light from the video.
Like, I know you're in the middle of those two things, and I'll be
Yeah, I'm basically taking a break.
It's so obvious.
That's fine. But, you say we're live, so I'm gonna run over to oh wait,
Okay.
get that on.
I'm going to get on board first.
So,
It's up here.
and then I'm gonna tape the rest of this since we'll have people walking up here. Or are they coming from that side?
We can ask them to come to that side because that's the side they have to get their stuff.
Okay, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem taping it either way. It's just if you're the only one coming up here, you're aware of it.
Correct. Well, and Dr. Ardelin.
Okay, I'll take it.
Are you ready for our city schools candidates to select? Okay. So the city schools board candidates that are here can come up and grab their number, and that will show you where you sit, and we have a nameplate for you.
Whenever you get done, you can just put that roll right here.
It's
I'll get you another one. Here, let me just take that. Do they want to do a little test before they start?
Wait.
I'll turn it on if you want to turn the mic on.
Can you guys want to do a mic test?
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Sound good? Everybody can hear well?
Good evening. I will do my more formal welcome in just a moment. Before I do that, I would like to give our president, Dr. Shaw Ardelin, a few minutes to come up and greet you this evening.
Thank you. Good evening. I was told I have 2 minutes, and I will have to lead by example. So if I go over, please feel free. You can do it. Thank you. Welcome. I want to say thank you to all the candidates for this and all the ones at the back of the room. And I wanted to answer one question, that why RCC? Why we're doing this? Why my team went through all these efforts to provide this? And it's very simple. If it matters to Randolph, it matters to RCC. So we are your community's college, and we are proud to be serving all of you. And I want to say thank you all for serving in one capacity or the other. But in either case, I wanted to thank you and welcome also 2 of our board members that are here. Please wave. Our board chair and also, one of our somehow not so new anymore. So Mr. Alvin Battle and Reynolds Lisk, thank you. And of course, the cabinet members right here. Thank you again. And again, I want to stay within my 2 minutes, so I appreciate it. And let's have a nice and pleasant evening, and we will all enjoy hearing from you and learning. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Mickey Baer, Senior Director of Marketing and Communications here at RCC. Moderating this evening's event is Robert McLaughlin, President of the Student Government Association, which is a change from the program. We could not pass up the opportunity to have our student leadership represented. Our timekeeper this evening is Dr. Isai Robledo, RCC Dean of Workforce Development and Community Strategies. Candidates received 2 pre-written questions 48 hours ahead of tonight's event. They will have 3 minutes to answer each question. They will also have 2 minutes to provide a closing statement. Our timekeeper will provide a 30-second warning. Will you show it? Thank you. Ahead of the expiration of the allotted time, a stop sign will be held up when the time has expired. We appreciate all of our candidates adhering to the time limits for this event. Upon arrival on stage, candidates will select a number out of a bowl and be seated based on the number they picked. As each candidate finishes answering a question, they will pass the microphone to the candidate seated next to them. This event is being live streamed on the RCC YouTube channel. I will introduce each panel member with an abbreviated bio. Please do refer to your program for more detailed bios on each candidate. Now, to get started. Our first panel of candidates is running for Asheboro City Schools Board of Education. Michael D. Brown has spent 40 years in education as a teacher, coach, and administrator. A longtime Asheboro resident, he also serves as deacon and Sunday school teacher at Beulah Baptist Church. Michaela Cassidy is a 2015 Asheboro High School graduate, a mentor for local students, and a talent and organizational consultant at Accenture, creating youth employment programs and leadership development initiatives. Hilda de Cortez, appointed to the Asheboro City Schools Board of Education in 2024, owns K&V Pallets and is the mother of 2 daughters, one an Asheboro High School graduate and one a current student. And Dr. Brad Thomas has been a physician for 33 years, working with athletes as a team doctor and in concussion care. He's the father of 2 Asheboro High School graduates and comes from a family of educators. So now I will turn it over to our moderator, Mr. McLaughlin, for the Q&A.
Good evening. Question 1 will go to you, Mr. Thomas. Despite ongoing challenges, what's one success you see in Asheboro City Schools, and how would you build on it to create more positive outcomes?
Well, thank you for this question. I think it's a great question. We focus so much on the negatives with our schools, and And I think looking at the successes is so important. I'm going to answer it kind of generally and then specifically. As a physician, I've partnered with the schools for years in a variety of roles, anything from team physicians to overseeing our athletic trainers, to even teaching the occasional health and biology class. And so the schools have always been open to the community coming in, and so our community partnerships I think have been a great success, especially in a world where schools and the community seems to be polarized very often. But I want to talk about two what I think are real successful partnerships that we've had in our schools. The first one I want to mention is one called Class Act. Class Act is where area churches form teams and come alongside our classrooms to provide a variety of resources, everything from pencils and paper to tutoring to mentoring to coming alongside the teachers so they can get a break from the students occasionally, to helping them with things like the book sales or a variety of other things. And in addition, they're praying for them, they're encouraging them, they're bringing them little things from time to time. And right now we've got, and I will use my notes for this, we've got 35 area churches working in our elementary schools, and right now we have 55 classrooms covered, and that includes some in all 5 of our elementary schools. The goal for this by the end of the year is to have all 110 classrooms covered with one of these teams to come alongside. So a little too early to see what the impact is going to be on the students, but if it's any indication, the principals and the teachers are asking for more teams. The other thing I want to mention is another thing that's near and dear to my heart is the Dream Center. The Dream Center is a partnership between our public schools, Northridge Church, and the state. And it's a faith-based after-school program, and it's not a daycare by any means. There's tutoring, there's STEM programs, there's programs that teach morals and virtues and all the things that come along with that, along with physical exercise. And and I can tell you the success rate there. Every student in the program has an increase in their reading, their writing, their arithmetic scores, and overall they're better behaved and are succeeding in the classrooms that they're in. So I'll make a plug for both of those, and I'm not even going to mention other partnerships like Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Backpack Pals, a number of things that our faith-based community is involved in, and I'll make a plug that I would love for y'all to get involved, and if you'd like to, let me know afterward.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, your answer?
When it comes to looking for what is successful in Asheboro City Schools, the chancellor at the school that I went to college about 100 years ago, it seems like, always said, everything rises and falls on leadership. And I feel like when I look at Asheboro City Schools, I look at Dr. Woody, I look at the central office, I look at the teachers, the principals, everything is just filtering right down from Dr. Woody right through the central office staff and going out into the different schools. I love what I'm seeing. I went to a couple board meetings. I've also done some research behind the scenes trying to find out what's really going on. And what I have found, looking at the last 2 board meetings, they have this thing called a continuous school improvement plan. And I love the fact that everybody's going in the same direction. They have 3 goals. It's called consistency, coherence, and belonging. And I just think that is wonderful for a school system to be tracking together, having the same mind, same focus on what they're trying to accomplish. Another fact that I found is their graduation rate in Asheboro City Schools is 90.9%. The state average is 87.7%. So they're doing an excellent job getting these kids to finish their degrees, to graduate on time, to get out of school. The third thing that I have noticed in my observations is the Global Innovation Center, what we've experienced with that, all 4 of us candidates have been interviewed. We had to sit under the grill of a high school student and pose questions to us, sitting on the couch, felt like we was on the late night show, answering questions and conversing back and forth. That was a tremendous experience. The technology that they have in that place is awesome. Then I've also noticed a few things. I understand they have a drone, soccer drone program going on. That sounds really cool. And of course, they're using it all the time for businesses and doing all kinds of stuff, showing computer stuff. The technology today is far beyond what I've ever experienced in my lifetime in school. Now, how am I going to try to help these situations? I got four ideas. Number one, as a board member, I want to try to make sure that we retain and recruit the best teachers possible. I know that we're not actually doing the hiring and firing, but we are trying to get the best people in here to teach our kids. I would like to say that as a board member, I want to make sure the purse strings are going in the right resources, making sure we're doing the very best for our students and our teachers. A third concern I have is making sure we have safe schools. We all know the kind of world that we live in right now. We want to make sure we have a safe learning environment for our kids. Lastly, as a board member, I'm going to try my best to get in the schools, meet with teachers.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Cassidy, we'll pose the question to you. Despite ongoing challenges, what's one success you see in Asheboro City Schools, and how would you build on it to create more positive outcomes?
Thank you for that question. One success I see in Asheboro City Schools is our culture of innovation, and I think we really have to celebrate Dr. Woody and Dr. Rich for their leadership in fostering that culture from the top down. Our district is really leading the charge when it comes to preparing our students for the real world after graduation. When you look at initiatives like the Global Innovation Center, our partnership with Daktronics, our tools that we use with robotics and VR, esports, Spark Lab, NC, and even our drone soccer team, as Mr. Brown mentioned. These aren't just examples of tools of technology that students are using, but they're examples of learning that is relevant, forward-thinking, and connected to the real world. What excites me most is that these aren't just tools that our students are engaging with, but they're actually receiving exposure to pathways that could lead them to careers in high-demand industries. We have partnerships with employers like Duke Energy, Toyota, and Cone Health. So our students are seeing, while they're still students in Asheboro City Schools, that there are future opportunities available to them that can begin in Asheboro. Professionally, I work as a consultant in Accenture's talent and organization practice, and for the last 5 years, I've had a focus on creating youth employment initiatives and strategies for organizations across the country. One of my favorite clients to date has been the City of Charlotte, where I was tasked with creating their very first hybrid learning summer experience for the Mayor's Youth Employment Program. The curriculum and the programming that I developed was centered on industry pathways that included finance, healthcare, technology, and skilled trades. So in my professional experience and my observation of our own district's success, I see firsthand the importance of merging public education with industry partners. So building on Asheboro's culture of innovation as a school board member, I would help focus on expanding access to those key partnerships. These are the kind of opportunities that our students need to get that hands-on experience. So it looks like deepening our connections with local businesses, colleges, and community organizations that are invested in our youth. This will provide hands-on learning, mentorships, and even internship opportunities. Of course, our first priority is to make sure that our students graduate educated, but I'm also committed to being a board member that makes sure our students are prepared and ready for a world that's ever-changing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cassidy. Ms. DeCortez, your answer?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I am very proud to have served the Asheboro Board of Education for the past year. It was hard to pick one topic to talk about and share with you tonight. As the Asheboro City Schools is growing, bringing innovation, technology, and partnerships with industry to make sure every student graduates with a plan, a purpose, and a pathway. I chose the following because it's close to my heart, and I think it's important to share. School attendance has moved from 91% from last year to an average of 95% so far this year. I strongly believe we are seeing better attendance because we're connecting better with our families and students throughout engagement nights and better use of our digital platforms. One way we're keeping our students in schools is by providing breakfast and lunch, a program that started last year and is completely free to all students. As many of you know, a significant number of our community, and our students in our community live in poverty. Knowing they have food security during school hours continues to bring them back every day. Programs such as the Welcome Center plays an important role because building meaningful connections with our families while offering useful resources builds trust. Athletics, arts, clubs, food, relationship, communication with parents gives students reasons to want to be in school. I want to continue working with the board, with administrators, educators, parents, and community to keep families engaged. Lastly, I would like to share that Asheboro City Schools received a grant to add digital locking system to each door and safety cameras for our schools. The safety of our students and staff is always a priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. DeCortez. This next question will also go to you. Given today's political divisions, how would you promote teamwork and unity on the Board of Education for the benefit of all students, faculty, staff, and the community?
Thank you for the question. Despite our political views, I believe we're all good people, and we're here because we want to serve our community. Public education brings together students and families from diverse racial, cultural, and socioeconomic backgrounds. The school board needs to reflect and serve as an example for our students, educators, and families. I'm committed to continue to be a team player and making sure that every decision is putting our kids first. By leading with empathy, respect, transparent communication, and no surprises, together we can build a district that our entire community can be proud of. By staying united, we can ensure every child has safe, inclusive, and supported learning system, which is what they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez. Ms. Cassidy, same question, your answer.
Thank you. Our politics can never supersede the well-being of our students or the support of our educators. At the end of the day, the Board of Education's work is not about political agendas or labels. It's about people, our students, our educators, our families, and our community as a whole. Asheboro is an incredibly unique district and community, and one of the things that I value most is the unique ways of thinking. I believe that collaboration thrives when people can think differently in the way that they approach a problem, but stay grounded in the same shared common goal. And that goal for us is ensuring that Asheboro City Schools continues to thrive as a strong public education system that is committed to providing a high-quality, free education to every student, regardless of their background or learning style. My entire campaign has been built on being an advocate who leads by listening, and that would absolutely carry into my time on the board. I believe that it is imperative that we hear the voices of our students, our educators, and our families, because effective advocacy begins with listening. One of the strongest and most powerful things you can do as a leader is ask questions and take time to understand why people feel the way they do, and then determine how to move forward. To me, that's what teamwork and collaboration looks like. It's about creating dialogue where each person's lived experience and perspectives are shaped into the solutions that we create. When people feel seen, heard, and respected, even if we don't agree, we can still move forward together. In my professional life, I've had the opportunity to work across many different sectors and teams, and I've often found that people have very different ways of problem solving or thinking through solutions. But one thing I've also learned from those experiences is that unity does not mean sameness. It's about having the discipline and maturity to not focus on the differences, but to focus on the goal at hand. So as a board member, I would be committed to maintaining open lines of communication, creating opportunities for collaboration, and fostering relationships that are built upon trust and respect. Because when we elect board members who lead with empathy and a shared commitment to our students' success, unity will be a natural result. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cassidy. Mr. Brown, given today's political divisions, how would you promote teamwork and unity on the Board of Education for the benefit of all students, faculty, staff, and the community?
Well, when I think about this situation of unity and teamwork, I have to reflect back on the experiences that I've had through the many years of education. I've had the opportunity to be on SIT teams, which is school improvement teams, where you have various folks from different departments. You have all kinds of different ideas, and just learning to interact with each other for a common goal of doing the best for our school. I've also been involved in, math department meetings. I know that's on a little bit smaller level, but even within the math departments that I've taught, I've met many, many people with differing ideas, and it's been a joy and my privilege to work with others and try to come to a common goal. I also know that when it's coming to deal with young people or dealing with parents and teachers and faculty members, principals as well, we want to treat each other with respect. We want to have dignity in our conversations. There's no reason to get bitter and to cause problems. I always kind of go back to the idea that we sometimes may have to agree to disagree and then move on from that situation and carry on with the business that we have to have. I feel like all the school board members are going to have the same common goal. We want our kids to be successful in life. We want them to be successful in going out into the workforce or going into college or whatever training they're seeking after they're with us. But we all have that same common goal of a focus. And when I think about this particular question, I also have to tap into my faith. I feel like I need to treat others just like Jesus did. Jesus loves everyone the same. No one's loved by God more than another person. He doesn't play favorites, and I feel like myself as a board member, that shouldn't happen as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Thomas, your answer?
So I do think this is a great question considering kind of where we are as a country right now. I do think we benefit from a school system that so far hasn't had to deal with some of the divisions that we've seen other places, but obviously they impact our schools. And I'd like to suggest that I've kind of lived through a different way. I grew up in Charlotte in the 1970s. I was in the middle of court-ordered busing. We were bused into formerly historically black schools. I spent junior high and high school in those schools. And obviously there was a lot of political division and there was a lot of strife. And what I saw happen was that students and families and teachers and principals, my dad was one of those, school administrators coming together and take a situation that could have been very difficult and was difficult at times and really make it a great situation. And one of the things I saw that they did was what they focused on, because I think if we focus on what's important in schools, and I'll just kind of lump it in kind of the importance of our academics, if we focus on things like the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, if we focus on science and history and civics, and we don't focus on social theories and the things that divide us, then we're going to be in good shape. We're going to know where we're going to go. And I think the important thing to realize is that as we look at educating our students, it's not a lot different than what I do when I treat you as a physician. I'm actually going to look for what is the best evidence-based curriculum that I can give you, just like I'll look for the best evidence-based treatment that I'm going to give you as a physician. And so as long as we do that, if we look at the evidence, if we understand what we need to do, when we focus on that and not all the other things, then I think we become a unified board, we become a unified school system, we become a unified community, because those are the things that we can all agree upon. And I want to give you a good example of this, about where this has been done really well. Is who knows what is the best ranked state school system in the country right now, or as far as their improvement goes, their improvement? Anybody? It's not North Carolina, I hate to say. It's the only school that really improved overall, and that was Mississippi. And they call it the Mississippi Miracle because they turned to evidence-based curriculum. They did away with a lot of the social theory that was there, and across the board, it didn't matter what demographic, what socioeconomic, what ethnic group, they have all improved. And so I think if we focus on the foundations, then we're all going to be in good shape. And we certainly won't have to deal with the political divides. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. You all have 2 minutes to give your closing statements, starting again with you, Mr. Thomas.
I guess I get to start twice. Well, thank all of you, our moderators, Dr. Arlen, for having us here today. It really is a pleasure to be here, and it's always a pleasure to be on the campus here. And I've had a lot of opportunities in my different roles to be here, just like the regular schools. I think the big thing is that our schools are really facing unprecedented challenges, but also opportunities. And I really do think as long as we focus on the 3 R's and all the things that go along with that we are going to be in good shape. As a physician, I'm going to bring an evidence-based approach to education. I want to make sure we have the best curriculum that we can, and it's serving, and it's been tried, and it's tested, and that we know how it's going to work. I also can address specific health issues that our schools are facing. Everything from the mental health crisis we have due to our smart technology and social media to other health issues that are in the community. I'm also a lifelong learner. You have to be as a physician, but I am a lifelong learner in history and religion and science and a lot of other subjects. And I hope that love that I have as a lifelong learner can be translated to our students and our teachers. And finally, I think I love our schools. I've been working in them for the past 33 years as a physician and pastor. Both of my children graduated from Asheboro High School, and I have lots of fond memories from all the times I've had. And so because of that, because of the things I have, I think I'm uniquely qualified to be on the school board at this time, and I'll hope you'll allow me to serve, and you'll vote for me, Brad Thomas, for Asheboro School Board.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. Brown, your closing statements.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to be here and share our platforms with you today. I guess when I reflect on why I want to run for Asheboro City School Board, I am a retired school teacher. I had 40 years of experience in the classroom. I also served as a principal for 5 years. I've coached kids for 37 years. It's been a great ride, and I want to get back in there and find out what's going on and help our schools with that experience and bring it to the school board, because I've been in the trenches. I know what it's like to be a teacher. I know what it's like to go through the stresses, the grind, as they say, of daily lesson planning and grading papers and taking care of homework. I mean, it's a lot of work, and I can sympathize with the teachers that are within the system. I can promise you that as a school board member, I will be one that is actively involved. I won't be one that just shows up on Thursday night meetings. I have a fortunate situation that I am retired, and I look forward to the opportunity to get in schools, to meet principals, to meet teachers. That's my love, and also to talk with students. So I think that that gives me a unique qualification to be on the school board. Thank you for our opportunity to be here. My name is Mike Brown. I am trying to advance excellence in Asheboro education. I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Cassidy, you have 2 minutes to give your closing statement.
Thank you again for the opportunity to be here tonight, and thank you all for being in attendance. As a proud 2015 graduate of Asheboro High School, this moment truly feels full circle for me. My experiences at Asheboro didn't only shape me as a student, but as a professional and as a leader. I'm also a two-time graduate of Hampton University, earning both my bachelor's degree and my MBA. All of these experiences help further cultivate my heart for service, my mind of strategy, and my deep appreciation for education and the power that it has to transform lives. Serving on the board means advocacy, listening to and speaking up for our students, our educators, and our families, and ensuring that every decision that we make positively impacts the students and the educators who walk through our hallways and sit in our classrooms every day. At 28 years old, I bring a perspective that bridges generations. I'm young enough to connect with today's students and grounded enough to learn from and collaborate from those who have already been serving this community for years. I've also had the privilege of serving as a mentor within our district. I started off at NAMS, mentoring a group of young ladies, and now I'm at the high school focusing on one-on-one mentorship. I've also had the opportunity to serve on the Superintendent's Black Advisory Council, where we collaborate on ways to best support our students and families. Those experiences gave me a close view of our students' needs and our educators' commitment to seeing them succeed. Just last week, I had the privilege of participating in McCrary's Career Day. And at the end of each of my sessions, without fail, one of the little Black girls in the class came up and gave me a hug. Someone was standing before them, giving them an opportunity to hear about the endless possibilities available to them and the purpose that they have in their lives. That is the power of representation. Representation isn't about politics. It's about connection and creating a system where each student in our district sees someone reflected at every level of leadership that looks like them and shows them their.
Thank you, Ms. Cassidy. Ms. DeCortez, you have 2 minutes to give your closing statement.
Thank you again for the time and for being here. For my closing statement, they asked us to answer why me and why now. I'm gonna start with my why now. Because I think it's important the Asheboro School Board represents everyone in our community. 52% of our students in Asheboro are Hispanic. Our students deserve to have someone that speaks their language, that shares their culture, and they can relate to their struggles. And I believe I'm the person for that job. I believe every child deserves the tools and support they need to succeed, no matter what their background is. And then why me? Because I don't have an agenda. I'm not a politician. I'm a mother, a small business owner, and a member of this community. I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to work and work together with the other board members and continue to grow. I hope to inspire future generations to serve in positions like this one. And I would be honored to earn your trust, your support, and your vote. Thank you.
Well, let's give them a round of applause. We're going to take just a minute for you all to exit. You can bring all of your items with you. We're going to switch out the name tags and reset. And while they're doing that, we're going to bring up our Asheboro City Council candidate. And as a reminder, you'll go to the table to pick your number. All of the chairs have numbers on the back, so that will show where you're seated. Okay, all set. Well, let me introduce the folks at the table. Now, I'm introducing in alphabetical order, by the way, so they just had to pick because of the way we do the mic, so they're going to be mixed up. Okay. So we have Philip R. Cheek, born and raised in Asheboro, has worked in law enforcement since 1989. A longtime Board of Education member, he has served as vice chair and chair of the policy committee since 2006. Kelly Heath, a current city council member, worked at Randolph Community College and Randolph Partnership for Children. She serves on local boards and received the 2024 Athena Award for Community Service. William Bill McCaskill is a lifelong Asheboro resident and current city council member. He worked 32 years in child protective services and now volunteers supporting youth and seniors through multiple local service organizations. Joel McCloskey, a former educator who is a downtown business co-founder, has led local civic groups and now serves on the Rhino Leap Productions Executive Board. He is the founding president of the Triad Brewers Alliance. Mary Joan M. Pugh has over 40 years in government, including as Asheboro's Community Development Director. A certified city planner, she helped found the Randolph County Tourism Development Authority Board and served 30 years with the North Carolina Zoo. Phil Skeen, born and raised in Asheboro, worked 44 years at Hunt and Company and volunteered 34 years with the fire department. He's a Rotary past president and Paul Harris Fellow Award recipient. Dave Thomas is the Director of Advancement at Haggai International, a global nonprofit. He has served on the Randolph County Young Life Board since 2013. And Pamela Van Cannon, an Asheboro native, serves as Vice Chair of Planning and Zoning. She founded Asheboro Randolph Animal Alliance and has spent 2 decades on city planning and land management committees. So now, we're all set. I will turn it back to our moderator, Mr. McLaughlin, to begin our Q&A.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Question 1 will go to you, Mr. McCaskill. With Randolph County's recent growth and new Tier 1 status, what's your vision for Asheboro's economic future, and how would you fund it?
Okay. The city of Asheboro is in the Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point metro area. Our metro area has had slow growth for the last several decades, unlike areas to the east such as Raleigh and Durham, and of course the metro area Charlotte to the west. However, there are strong indications that our metro area, the Triad Metro area, is now beginning to experience a growth spurt. These indications include the Toyota battery plant, which is beginning production with thousands of workers. 2 airplane production industries are slated to open at the Triad Airport. Davidson County has recruited several major industries in the US 64 and I-85 area, which is very close to the Randolph County border. There is a large distribution facility being constructed on the west side of Randolph, which is also near the Asheboro city limits. And we in Asheboro are set to announce a new industry starting up within a couple of days. This growth around us indicates that Asheboro is also in for major growth. However, this growth is not automatic just because our metro area is now expanding. We need to be ready when industry businesses express interest in us. Some of the positives going on for us in recruiting industry are: we are in the center of the state, we have a great highway system with a short distance between our major cities. Asheboro has improved quality of life in the last several years. Randolph Community College is available for any type job training that may arise in the future. And the county and city are financially able to provide monetary incentives, which are so important in today's industry recruiting. There are, of course, some negatives, as in everything in life. These negatives include the lack of a ready industrial site in the Asheboro area, the need for water and sewer infrastructure upgrades, which we will discuss in question 2. So we have a lot of positives and negatives that we have to work on. The Randolph County Economic Development Corporation is charged with recruiting industry in Randolph County and, of course, Asheboro. They have experience at working with all levels of government to develop funding sources. We also have a city staff with knowledge of grant writing and where to seek funding. Funding assistance can be found, but it is not easy to locate and very competitive. I am committed to the continued recruitment of business and industry in Asheboro.
Thank you, Mr. McCaskill. Mr. Thomas, your answer?
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that don't understand anything about the Tier 1 system, maybe you haven't done your research, in the state of North Carolina, our governing board decided that the 100 North Carolina counties should be divided into 3 separate categories. Tier 1 being the most economically challenged, Tier 2 being the middle ground, Tier 3 being the upper ground. Last year we were in Tier 2. It gets viewed every year. To give you an example from the stat sheets, there are 4 major things that is viewed for the Tier 1 program. Housing tax, the tax rate for housing, population growth, median income, and unemployment. When we look at population growth in Randolph County, we're in the 51st. We're in the dead center of the state. When we look at median income, we're 52nd, again, dead center of the state. We look at unemployment at 3.74%, we're the 43rd, again, right in the dead center of the state. We're doing very well at those things for our economy. We used to be a very high blue-collar economy. We still are a blue-collar county for a whole, but we lost a lot of manufacturing here. The one thing that has hurt us is our tax rate. We are number 10, with an average of $90,000 per average tax rate of homes. To give you an example, Alamance County is 86. They're 5th. We're 10th. The one thing that's hurting us is our tax rate. I don't look at that as a negative. I look at that as a positive. For all of us that live here, we know that our taxes are a little bit lower. How do we raise our tax value base? Well, we have to bring in more industries. One of the things that Bill McCaskill talked about was, yes, we do have the Toyota plant that is coming and will provide lots of new jobs. Several other industries are coming. All of those things will eventually give us a higher tier and grow our tax rate for our homes. The one thing that you asked was, how do we fund this? I think the 2 major things that we need to look at is job skill training. I think that the community leaders, whether it be in Randolph County Commissioners or the Asheboro City School Board, we need to look and try to help with our school systems to actually get more job skill training through RCC and through programs that are needed technical degrees. We need to teach our kids not to always go to 4-year programs, but to look at the value of a 2-year technical degree, which can really provide great income. My daughter is one of those that is doing that. The second thing, and I think the biggest thing that we need to look at as far as Asheboro, is Bill McCaskill just talked about, is land. We need to find some new suitable situations of land along the 73, 74 corridor that we can actually turn and develop into another site that more industries can come into. So I don't see this as a positive or negative, I see it as a positive.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Ms. Von Canning?
So just to expand a little bit on the tiers and how that works, the North Carolina Department of Commerce came up with this system in part to help provide opportunities for counties to receive funding and to apply for funding and to get grant money and opportunities from other nonprofit, private, and public partners. And it is giving us an opportunity to look at this as a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to ask for and to be eligible for more grant money and more opportunities for our county. We have consistently been 1 and 2 tier over the years, and we did drop from tier 2 to tier 1 in 2025. If you look at the timing of that, we had just lost Gloucester, which had 100,000 jobs and lowered our average income. And of course, we have Toyota going online with up to 5,000 jobs over the next few years, and the Marshall's Distribution Center, which is going to have 800 in some positions. But those are currently underway, and those are getting started. So there is a ways to go on those jobs being added. But that is definitely going to put us in a position to be in a higher tier. What we need to focus on is how to harness the opportunity to get funding and to look at where we can improve. And it's a fancy way of saying we have higher consideration for funding, grants, private, nonprofit, money to encourage economic growth, and it's a blessing. Job investment grants can give back 80% of tax withholdings to the investments that are done. Local government can match $1 for every $3 of investment. Block grants can provide economic development and infrastructure opportunities, as well as opportunities for affordable housing. We need to educate our community on the challenges and the solutions, and we need to mainly look at creating living wage jobs. We need to bring economic growth, because economic growth serves a variety of challenges and turns them into positives. We need increases in living wage jobs, residential and business property tax base, and sales revenue from taxes on sales. We need to work with the Randolph County Economic Development Corporation to have a shovel-ready site available when they have a need, and we need to focus on getting funds for that. Government grants, partnering, whole block redevelopment plans, and affordable housing. Without infrastructure, we don't have economic development, and we have to focus and maintain and double down on our public safety, recruiting, training, and retaining the best people to be first responders, being good tourism partners, and most important, I believe in us. I know we can do it. The heart of our city is our community, and we will be successful in maintaining our quality of life here.
Thank you, Ms. Von Cannon. Mr. Skeen, your answer?
The microphone.
Thank you. You know, I read the question. It said, with Randolph County's recent growth and new Tier 1 status, what's your vision for Asheboro's economic future, and how would you fund it? So I read the question as, what's my vision for Asheboro's economic future? They've addressed the Tier 1 situation and what it is, and I'll give you just a few of my visions. There's more than this, but this is just some that I came up with, and I'd like to share them with you. My vision for Asheboro is not just my vision, but to include that of a consortium of individuals, boards, and commissions with the charge of seeing Asheboro in a way that will entice the curiosity and desire of many to come and live and do business here. I prefer to share my vision and expand on it with others to make the absolute best result for my city. I don't choose to have a narrow-minded, my way only vision. This would be shared visions that can be discussed, finely tuned, agreed upon, or rejected by like-minded people of citizens that would be approved or refined by our planning board. I also have a vision recruiting new clean industry that's environmentally safe and a healthy partner for our city. Recruiting new vineyards of retail shops. Maybe fashion something similar to that of a Tanger outlet store front. Using the McCrary building for something other than totally housing. Sharing its presence with shops that bring in repeat visitors from other towns as well as local residents. Creating jobs and tax revenue that is now being missed. Giving Asheboro that small town welcome, we're glad you're here atmosphere. Supporting our downtown Asheboro Incorporated to a higher level. And to be insistent on our local EDC work that the EDC work as diligently for the city as they do the county. Creating let's go back to Asheboro attitude for those who enjoy their visits. And you ask about funding, I'll address that. Our present economic development and community support budget has a fund of $736,000. Our culture and recreational budget has a funding of $7,351,000. Grants and other monies can be had through the proper request channels from private and government entities. The support of the council will be flexible if needed to ensure positive results.
Thank you, Mr. Skeen. Ms. Pugh, your answer?
Well, Asheboro is fortunate to have a robust group of organizations that support economic growth and business, including the Randolph County Economic Development Corporation, the Randolph County Tourism Development Authority, Downtown Association Incorporated, and the Randolph Community College and the Small Business Center, and the Asheboro-Randolph Chamber of Commerce. If elected, I will work to convene a task force of these organizations and others to develop an economic strategic plan to serve as a roadmap for Asheboro's economic future. The elements would include industrial and small business to take advantage of the mega site businesses such as Toyota and Wolfspeed to attract their suppliers and startup businesses. Tier 1 status, if you heard, offers priority for business development funds. Second would be tourism, to take advantage of the 1 million visitors to the world-class North Carolina Zoo, with the state's top tourist destination. It generates $150 million in economic impact. The zoo generates $250,000 in local sales tax that could be used to support the zoo. Quality of life amenities to attract potential businesses and tourists, as well as to keep and enhance what Asheboro holds dear. These include the vibrant downtown, the new Zoo City Sportsplex, McCrary Field, the Recreation Center, and the soon-to-be Agricultural Center. All of these attract tournaments and other events and visitors. Asheboro could use its 1 cent room tax allocation for marketing these facilities. Workforce development, to take advantage of the award-winning workforce training at Randolph Community College, which is one of the top community colleges in the state, in the U.S. We could use that to attract businesses and industries that are willing to pay for this training. If not, we can use our Tier 1 status to get priority in workforce development funds. Also important is to have a reliable local government that provides, that you can depend on, so that there's a good climate for business. And we could do some things like streamlining the development process. I know this to be effective, a guide for Asheboro's economic future. When I was the High Point Associate Planning Director, I led the staff support.
Thank you, Ms. Pugh. Ms. Heath, your answer?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you to the college for hosting this event and for all of you to be here this evening. So my vision is that we continue to have the amazing breadth of industries and the thriving small business community that we have now, with even more variety and even more people employed. Of course, City Council is not solely responsible for our Asheboro's economic future, and we must continue to collaborate with Randolph County and some other organizations that I'll mention. The city's main role in our economic future is to ensure our infrastructure can handle our existing businesses and residents plus growth, to keep our community as safe as it can be by prioritizing public safety, and certainly to add appropriate housing. But what are some things that we can do? So the current City Council has moved forward with plans for an Asheboro Business Investment Incentive Program. The purpose of this is to make Asheboro more attractive to private investment, to create new jobs that provide a livable wage and benefits, and promote reuse and improvement of our existing buildings. We've got some vacant buildings that we can do some things with. This will be paid for through a partnership with the Randolph County Economic Development Corporation, Downtown Asheboro, Inc., our local Chamber of Commerce, other civic organizations, and from the city's general fund. We definitely need to continue to provide annual funding to the Chamber of Commerce and the Randolph Economic Development Corporation, because after all, they're the ones that support our businesses, attract businesses, and help them to thrive. Mary Joan mentioned tourism. Tourism is a huge economic driver in Randolph County. Those dollars, of course, support our sales tax revenue, which can then be reinvested back into Asheboro. We don't provide direct funding to the zoo or to the Tourism Development Authority, which markets our county, but we have to continue to partner with them to support tourism because it brings dollars here. Our downtown already attracts a steady stream of residents and visitors who leave their money at our shops, hotels, restaurants, and other businesses, and we need to continue to robustly fund the Main Street program from our general fund that supports downtown, because again, that brings money here, which then pumps money into sales tax, which comes back to us. Finally, we have to continue to provide economic incentives like the county and the city just approved for Project Golden Wind. The average salaries of the positions at that facility are going to be $55,000 a year. That's tremendous. One thing to remember with these performance incentives that we give to folks, if they meet their performance objectives, we pay those incentives from revenue we otherwise would not have gotten. Every incentive that we do is performance-based and self-funded. Nobody gets a penny until their goals are met, and they don't cost our residents anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heath. Mr. Cheek, your answer?
Good evening, everybody. Glad to be with you, and thank you for having this here. Looking at the growth, as they say, we have to continue to recruit and seek more companies as we have been in the past for the area, to build the area. We are, like I said, Asheboro has a growth of development plan, and we need to follow that plan as it's going right now. With the zoo has been as great as it is, and building like it is, and the money it brings in. Downtown Asheboro, like I said, since it's been renovated and everything, and all stores have stores and the building's not closed, it's the way we need to continue moving forward with that. But when we do this type of things, we need to make sure we're doing check and balance. Check and balance for what we give out, making sure we're getting it back. Sometimes we write out things that sometimes we give too much out, and then we don't get our balance back for what they're saying or whatever. With the Tier 1 situation, as we talked about a little bit earlier, that status, that situation is going to be an easy situation as time grows. Because once time moves forward and Toyotas and these other companies keep going, we'll be out of that and we'll be back to the Tier 2 at that time after they get their goals met. Funding these things is like I said, once again, I go back to check and balance. Offer incentives to the companies, but make sure that the city is getting back the quality of what they're giving us, as they say. Make sure we're receiving it back. We have the federal grants. We have grant writers. We have the ones that can write the state grants. We have the county that will help support and get that to fund the things. We have one of the best city managers we could ever ask for to look into these situations to help us decide which way we need to go. And working with the city council members, like I said, it seems like I said, they would all come together and work together for the best of Asheboro City. Our ideals and things that we think of may not be all the same, but once you put all of 7 together and put it together and work together and bring up the ideals, I believe we'll come to a successful conclusions before we move forward. Always remembering, like I said, we have a capital improvement program already. So we're looking at things to do and how to move forward. Like I said, sometimes you think like you want to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We need to make it work and roll smoother. That's all we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cheek. Mr. McCloskey?
So tonight I'll give you my vision for Asheboro's economic future in one line. It's make every dollar work twice, once for jobs and again for the quality of life. Tier 1 is not a scarlet letter, it is a lever, and it moves us up the grant list, it lowers local matches, and if we're ready, we'll bring real money to Asheboro. So step 1 is the boring stuff. It's the stuff of reliable water and sewer, safer streets, brighter lighting. Now when the basics are solid, everything else will stack on top. And that will unlock the private investment into Asheboro without having to ask families to shoulder more financial burden. And speaking of our families, if you work here, you should be able to live here. That means infill where pipes already exist, accessory dwelling units for aging parents and younger workers, and missing middle homes so that our teachers, our nurses, and our first responders have homes they can afford and they can support our local small businesses. our small businesses are the quickest path to job creation. And our question is what can we do to help them hire one more person, increase their production, possibly be open one more day? And that's why a front door for permits and fast track for code compliant projects, so owners are spending their time with their customers and not chasing signatures. Talent is our long game. Expanding apprenticeships and dual enrollment with city schools and RCC so a kid can step into a promising career, whether he has a four-year degree or not. That keeps families together and paychecks in Asheboro. We should also ensure that our public assets are generating their full value year-round. Our ballpark, our sportsplex, our downtown areas can host tournaments, concerts, markets, and unique events that will bring people in from outside of Asheboro. With pairing with smart scheduling and sponsorships and naming rights, this offsets our maintenance cost, increases event revenue, and it has our visitors help keep our lights on. Now, how do we fund all of this without starting at the taxpayer wallet? We stack Tier 1 Advantage dollars, including North Carolina Building Reuse Grants, Rural Infrastructure Authority programs, and the Community Development Block Grant of Economic Development Program. Federally, this includes the EDA, the USDA Rural Development, and U.S. Department of Transportation programs such as Safe Streets and RAISE. For parks, we look at the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund. For utilities, we look at enterprise funds and revenue bonds, allowing growth to fund itself. Now, this all needs an operating system, a 12-month calendar of opportunities, deadlines, wins and misses, a live dashboard to let us all know where our money is going and what we can do to increase the power of Asheboro. My approach is nuts and bolts. It's fix the basics, lower friction, multiply every outside dollar with disciplined local matches. And that's how Asheboro turns Tier 1 into Tier We're Winning.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McCloskey. The second question will also start with you. Upgrading and expanding infrastructure is a high priority for the city of Asheboro. What do you envision as the first phase to address this area, and how would you fund it?
Thank you. The first phase, plain and simple, fix what fails, finish what's already half done, and make the safest routes even safer, then build from there. The first 18 months could look like this. We begin with reliability and safety. We replace the most failure-prone water and sewer mains, and when those streets are open, we dig once. We drop conduit for future use. We upgrade drainage so that same block is not dug up again in 6 months. And as we are building back, we close those sidewalk gaps, add ADA ramps, crosswalks, and lighting in our most high-use corridors. Second, we look at our industrial and downtown access, and that's resurfacing its signal fixes on roads that carry the most freight and the most visitors, plus basic downtown utilities and streetscape touch-ups where businesses are waiting to see if the city is investing in them opening a new business. Third, we target hotspots, quick win culvert fixes, valve replacements, pressure zones, with every project scored on condition, risk, safety impact, and cost. And then we publish that list and schedule so that you can hold us accountable. So how do we fund this first phase without starting with your wallet? Utilities pay for utilities. We use the enterprise fund and revenue bonds for pipe and plant work, and we ensure that growth pays for itself. We update our system development fee so new development chips in fairly per state law. We stack outside dollars with tier one grants from our Division of Safety, water infrastructure, rural infrastructure, building reuse, especially where it touches jobs. Federally, we look at U.S. Department of Transportation Safe Streets for school and hospital corridors, RAISE for multi-use segments, FEMA BRIC for drainage resilience, and the USDA Rural Development for utility gaps. For parks and greenways, we look at our Parks and Recreation Trust Fund, where sidewalk segments also connect to recreational areas. We create a local match fund so that we can budget and be able to unlock 5-to-1 or 10-to-1 grants on day one, not year two. We have targeted districts where our benefits concentrate, something like a municipal service district downtown for facades, lighting, and sidewalks in the blocks where needed most. We look at public-private cost sharing. When a developer needs to upsize lines or turn a lane that also benefits the city, We share those costs by formula, not by negotiation. And there are no blank checks. Any incentive is performance-based with job and wage thresholds and clawbacks. Now, this accountability, we have an infrastructure dashboard that displays the project list, funding source, timeline, percentage complete, with a progress report every 90 days. And if a project slips, you'll see it and you'll know why. That's phase one, reliability under feet, safety where it matters, fix the basics, and make every gig count.
Thank you. Mr. Cheek, your answer?
Yes, really good question here on this one. Like I said, this first thing to start off with as we look at it. Everything has been said about the water and the water waste system and everything of that nature. The upgrades of the transportation upgrade the area and the streets, roads. Public safety, keep us safe and everything is one of the positive things we need to really look into. With a population of over 28,000 now, housing shortage, making it where it's affordable housing, where people can move into affordable housing. Once again, we have to address the water issue. One of the ways of doing it is recognize as we sell water to other cities that's close by to us, make sure when we're selling that water to them that we're getting a check and balance on it. Which I mean by that is that we're selling it enough that we can treat and help replace some of the pipes that we need to be replacing. We have to make sure that we're not cutting ourselves short. Other people is needing the water, and we're selling it, so we make sure we're not cutting ourselves short and coming on the short end of that. Once again, as I say, that check and balance situation. Like I said, the federal grants that's paid for it, use the federal grants and state grants, and Randolph County commissioners have been really good to us. We build our city teams like we always have with the city team to help us to make sure that we reach these goals by reaching and paying for each of these items or whatever without overdoing our budget. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Heath, your answer?
For the last year and a half, Council has been discussing our infrastructure needs as just part of overall strategic planning. And we've gotten a lot done with paving and sidewalks. Hopefully you've noticed that. We've gotten more done this fiscal year than we have in the last 3 years. And we now have a prioritized capital improvement plan for water and sewer projects. Under that plan, our first priority was to install a backup generator system at Lake Reese. Because the Lake Lucas water intake has some damage to it, we've been pumping from Lake Reese. We now have a backup generator there, which obviously is essential just to have backup power for that system there. And that was paid for from the Water and Sewer Fund. And one thing to keep in mind, the Water and Sewer Fund is an enterprise fund, so any water and sewer improvements have to be paid from that fund. It's completely separate from the general fund. I mentioned the Lake Lucas water intake. We were fortunate to get a grant of about $4.1 million to be able to repair that. And another high priority are 3 pump stations located in the northeast area of Asheboro. Pump stations are what helps to keep our wastewater moving. One needs repairs, and we are adding 2 new ones just to service that area with the growth that's coming with the Ag Center and the hotels that are going in there. So what's next after that? So our water plant is 87 years old. Our wastewater treatment plant is 56 years old. We have some water and sewer lines that are 80 and 90 years old. What was supposed to last 40 or 50 years initially is well past its useful life. It's not that our infrastructure was bad to begin with. It was actually incredibly well built, but it's just like your car. It won't last forever, and eventually you have to replace things, and that's where we are. We really have a 3-pronged challenge. We have aging infrastructure, higher environmental standards, and as everybody is experiencing, inflation and increased costs. So with the extensive replacements, upgrades, and maintenance we need to begin to do, we are certainly eligible for many grants. Folks have talked about Tier 1. That's going to help us. Low interest loans could possibly be looked at to ease the burden on residents. We certainly need to look at all options to supplement water and sewer rates. We need to look at bonds. Of course, that would be up to the citizens to decide if we wanted to take that route. And we're already in talks with the county to financially support us with improvements to our system. They are interested in being a partner with us, and we need to try and make that a reality if we can. Partnering with other water and sewer systems through regionalization is another option being explored. And I'm proud to say I'm part of the team that chose our new city manager. He has an infrastructure background, and that could not have come at a better time. Finally, the city must provide clear and simple communication and education for the public about why this work is necessary, what we're doing, and where your investment is going. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heath. Ms. Pugh, your answer?
Well, the key to approaching any infrastructure work is to consider it comprehensively in light of other needs and other budgetary constraints. That is the reason my top priority, if I'm elected, is to develop a fiscally responsible capital improvement plan and budget that addresses all of the city's most pressing infrastructure needs. That entails making a list of all the projects such as water and wastewater treatment facilities, water and sewer lines, streets and sidewalks, public safety and fire equipment and facilities needed in the next 10 to 20 years. The list would be put in priority order based on need, timing, cost, and funding sources, and a budget would be developed to fund these projects. Government needs to be a good steward of taxpayers' funds and not spend more than it collects. Now that the Zoo City Sportsplex, Recreation Center, McCrary Field renovations are complete and debt-free, I understand that the city's capital improvement fund has $20 million available. If funds are needed for specific capital projects such as a fire station and equipment, the city needs to explore all sources of revenue, including grants and bonds and other sources, and put together a funding package. If sufficient capital improvement funds or city tax revenues or other sources are not available, then the city should consider undertaking the project in phases. For example, during my 30 years as the deputy director of the North Carolina Zoo, it became apparent that there were not enough funds available to build the Asia exhibit all at once. As a result, the zoo is currently constructing phase 1 of Asia, which opens next year, and then we'll proceed with Australia and Amazon before revisiting Asia. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Skeen, your answer?
What more can I say after what these ladies have said? I think they read my paper. I could add that the water and sewer, when you say infrastructure, that's what we talk about. Everybody thinks water and sewer. And it should be a priority of upgrading, preparing for future needs of our new developing housing that's coming to Asheboro. We've got to think ahead about where to put our water and sewer lines so we can tap onto them. They made mention of our new city manager, Mr. Duncan. Absolutely 2 thumbs up. He knows what's going on. He'll be a good man to listen to mentor me for sure. And he knows what's going on as far as setting up a system to tap onto water system to keep it flowing in a circle like it needs to. You got down to the fire station. Yes, we do have a fire station coming. I have a fire service background with the city of 34 years. I was their last volunteer, so I hung in there for a while. And so it's very dear to my heart. But we do need new equipment. We've gotten behind on our fire trucks. We need 3 new pumpers right now. Typical pumper, a cheap one now is $1 million. If you get a tower truck or a high lift truck, that's $2.5 million. It takes at least 3 years to get one after the point of order. So we're way behind on that now. We've got to catch up on that. And another thing too, this is off script for me, we've all heard about what we need and what we can get money-wise and how we can do this and that, but it's all blue sky unless we all can work together as a board, as a council. And that's what's got to happen here. We all have good ideas, good insights, good visions, but we've got to segue into one good idea and work on this. And that's my concern. Daily life will come to the city. It will come to us as advantages of industry coming to us, and we have the economic development going after it. We have people working, we have people writing grants and seeking grants. All that's gonna come together. But unless we make the right decisions on how to use this money, how to take it and get the most out of it, as he said, spend a dollar, get a dollar back, then that's where we need to be, and that's my concern. We all have visions, we all have everything that we're talking about here, but we've got to come together and make this work for our city. I was born and raised here, this is my home, and I'll be here until I leave, I'm hoping. So I want to see Asheboro grow and be the success that it has been. Asheboro kind of evolved over the years. It's time for us to take it and put a system to it and make it grow into the future that will satisfy those who will be here after us.
Thank you. Ms. Von Cannon, your answer?
So in the end, it all comes back to infrastructure. Increases in revenue provide opportunities. We have to educate the public. We have to make sure that all of you understand the challenges that we face and the potential solutions that we have and what it's going to take to get there so that you can go through it with us. We all have to remember that there's no one right answer. There are lots of different solutions and ways to get there, but we have to work together to pick the best solution that we can for the situation, and we have to do the very best that we can for the city. We have to keep all the balls in the air, all the different parts of the budget, while we're trying to concentrate on how we're going to make these improvements and prioritizing these immediate infrastructure challenges and planning for the future expansion. Obviously, we've all talked about the sidewalk repairs that are going on and are still needed, streets that need to be paved, going at about 5 miles a year. Those things are all going to work themselves out over time if we stay on them. The water is self-funding, but we have major critical infrastructure things that have to be fixed with that because it's aging. So some things can be worked into the annual budget. Some things need private and public partnership. Some things need federal and state government assistance. And some things need local government municipality partners to work with, possibly even municipal bond funds. FEMA, cost sharing, developers working with us on their projects to make sure that we get the best bang for our buck with what we add, grants from Tier 1 opportunities. We can't wait on the state to fund a wastewater treatment plant or assume that they're going to provide the funds to make a regional treatment plant. It might not be feasible at the end of the day when it comes time to look at it. Investments have to make sense. There might come a time when we can partner with the Piedmont Triad Water Authority for wastewater treatment, but in the meantime, we have to maintain and expand what we have here to meet our growing needs and to take care of our residents. We have to get busy doing what we can, where we can, when we can, and we have to make the best water services system possible in the meantime, and that is going to take significant investment over many phases. We have an abundance of great water, but right now we need to ensure that the water gets to our sinks and commodes and that they can be flushed. We're currently only using Lake Reese water on a daily basis. We have to make ongoing emergency repairs and replacements. We need a secondary water line from Lake Lucas to Lake Reese. We need backup generators at Lake Reese for emergencies. We need new lines to carry water from Lake Lucas to the water plant. We need upgrades and modernization in our wastewater treatment plants and in our water treatment plant. We need to ensure that we can meet the standards of new wastewater treatment requirements going forward. And we need lift station repairs and upgrades. It's an ongoing project, but we can make it happen.
Thank you, Ms. Van Cannon. Mr. Thomas, your answer?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm just kidding. There's a lot been said, but there's still a lot missing. One of the things that we need to look at as a city is we have a $50 million budget. If you were to actually come through that budget, you will actually see that the city of Asheboro needs to probably trim some fat. Let's be honest. We, as a city, we don't always look at every single dollar being spent. As a city council, we need, especially the new ones, this new city council board needs to look at every single dollar. We were given that roughly the water plant's going to cost between $100 to $150 million. The USDA offers grants and loans. I did a calculation with the USDA to see how much it would be. A USDA loan for a $100 million water plant would be roughly $310,000 a month, $3.7 million a year. I do believe we already actually have that type of money roughly within inside of our budget. We just have to actually be smart about how do we go about finding the resources. As a small business owner, I have to watch every dollar I spend. And I think as a city, we have to do the same. Yes, we know that our streets need to be paved, and I agree with Joel. We open up when we put in new water lines, and we just open up once. We don't put in a water line that can hold the water for the next 10 years. We need to put a pipe in that can hold water for 50 years from now. So if instead of a 16-inch pipe, we put in a 20-inch pipe to hold the growth, we need to think forward and say, I would rather spend a little bit money now so I don't have to spend it later. Our problem is we're more reactive than proactive, and we have to become very proactive in this approach to it. I think the money is actually there. I think we can actually find ways within our own budget to figure these things out. And with the federal government's help, I think we will actually accomplish some great things here for our city and our community.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Mr. McCaskill?
Being last, a lot of people stole my thunder here, but I'll read what I got. The initial phase of addressing our infrastructure problems includes identifying priority projects. This is not as easy as it sounds. We have a number of really critical projects that need to be completed. However, we do have expert city staff who handle water and sewer, and they work every day to handle crisis in our system. I think the problem that I worry about the most in the water and sewer area is our sewer lift stations. Because of Asheboro's hilly topography, we require a number of lift stations to pump the sewage to our treatment plant on Hub Marsh Road in North Asheboro. Several of these stations need major repair, and a number of lift stations, pump stations, are just wore out and need to be replaced. These stations cost approximately $700,000 apiece to replace. We currently, on our current budget, are budgeted for several of the lift stations to be fixed and a couple to be replaced. But the lift stations really drain our water and sewer budget. By law, water and sewer bills and utility hookups are the only way that we can pay for water sewer lift stations in our budget. Ad valorem taxes cannot be used to fund any water and sewer projects. Looking a little further down the road, about the only way, in my opinion, that we can pay for these $1 million plus projects is with state assistance. However, that comes with problems. We recently received state revenue in the amount of $4 million to fix a broken intake valve at the bottom of Lake Lucas. However, it required 5 years of yearly applications to finally qualify for the money. And we've had to shut down Lake Lucas, which was our main water supply, until we can finally get this valve fixed, which we hope to start on in the near future. In the future, I feel that regionalization of our water and sewer infrastructure is the answer for funding. These plants these water and sewer plants cost so much to replace or upgrade that Asheboro can't do it alone. We already accept sewer from out in the county and are constructing a water line to the eastern Randolph area of Randolph County. It seems to me that Randolph County and the county and other county municipalities should join together and build needed water infrastructure in the future. Also, state and federal authorities are more likely to join in funding these regionalizations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McCaskill. You will now have 2 minutes to give your closing statements.
I'm completing my 4th year on the Asheboro City Council. My service on the council has been enjoyable and educational. To be frank, it's been quite a learning experience. I've always been interested in local government and how it operates. Actually, being on the city council and making decisions is quite more intense than I anticipated. Regularly voting on million-dollar work orders is all a part of the job that has taken some getting used to. The land use decisions made by the city council are the most difficult and thought-provoking. These decisions can have lifelong effects on neighborhoods and where people have lived for years. Balancing the right of property owners to use their property versus the interests of established neighborhoods can be a very difficult decision to render. In making these decisions, I have attempted to read all available information, study planning department maps, listen to all arguments, and personally visit the site of every zoning and annexation case. During my tenure on the city council, I've only missed one council meeting. This was due to COVID. I actually planned on double masking and attending the meeting, but the mayor advised me that he wouldn't let me in the room if I showed up. So I looked at the meeting on YouTube. I have also made a point to attend as many community organization meetings as possible. I've done this to try to keep abreast of what's going on in the community. I've also been appointed recently, or a year ago, to the Senior Citizens Board. During my time on the council, I've also attended most of the ribbon cutting sponsored by the chamber. These events are very important because they usually involve establishment of small businesses. We would all like to see large industries move into Asheboro with high wages, but small businesses are the backbone of our.
Thank you. Mr. Thomas, you have 2 minutes to give your closing statements.
Why me? I'm a small business owner. I own properties here in Asheboro, and I provide affordable housing. I know what it takes to actually sit across the table from a tenant when they're struggling with their job. I know what it takes to actually have to go to court and kick somebody out, which is one of the worst feelings in the world. I've helped run my family business, which some of y'all know was Thomas Tire. I've been a part of it when my dad had to sit there and go from 125 employees to 75 employees in one day. I had to be a part of those meetings where it was tough and critical to let go of 50 people. It was the worst day of my dad's life, he said. I understood why. Because you had to hurt families that had been loyal to his company. But in order to do that, it helped grow, and look at where my siblings are now with their business. I'm proud of where they've taken it. One of the things that we have to do is we have to really have a lot of common sense in this job. And I keep going back to the dollars and cents. If it is not for the dollars and cents and the doge of what we see now in our government, we have to be able to look at every single dollar, find the resources within. Do we need to buy a new tractor? Maybe yes, maybe no. Do we need to buy the highest equipment possible? Maybe yes, maybe no. We actually have to just sit there with common sense as a board, with the mayor, and with the county, the city manager, and just say, are we actually funding the right things with the amount of dollars? That's what I'm going to come at with this. I'm going to come out with a common sense approach, a biblical common sense approach that I learned from my dad running the business. I helped grow his business by $30 million when I was there. I hope to help grow Asheboro. I am growing Asheboro in my own private equity of real estate, and I want to see our citizens thrive through job skill training down here at RCC and through other things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Ms. Von Cannon, you have 2 minutes for your final statements.
So I'm a hometown girl, and I'm proud to call Asheboro home. I believe in us. I'm passionate about our city. I'm a mortgage banker and tax accountant background, so I have the ability to analyze and assimilate information and make financial decisions. I'm vice chair of planning and zoning and have served you for 8 years in that capacity. 2 decades on land management and strategic planning committee. They give me the knowledge, experience, and I carry the passion, and I'm involved in our community, and I want to carry Asheboro forward. My focus is on you, listening, collaborating, finding solutions, celebrating our quality of life here in Asheboro. We have to focus on public safety, infrastructure needs, government accountability, and making common sense decisions, economic development to bring in additional revenue. Our city is a city of opportunity. We're in a great location. We have a lot of opportunities to harness with our tourism, our new job opportunities, and we are becoming a destination city. Expansion of the zoo, the Ag Center, and other key projects will carry us forward. I've helped pave the way for a lot of these projects and upcoming projects to be completed with new business with higher paying jobs, affordable housing projects, supporting small businesses in our community. I have continuously worked to ensure that our growth choices blend with what makes Asheboro so special. I'm pro-community. I believe our community is the heart of our city, and we need to continue to do what we can to make Asheboro a great place to live, work, and play. I believe in neighbors helping neighbors, and I know we can do it together.
Thank you, Ms. Von Cannon. Mr. Skeen, you have 2 minutes for your final statement.
So there's two more questions. Why you and why now? America was once a vision, and that vision was joined and contributed to by individuals like you and I. That same effort still continues every day in many ways throughout this world. It's people serving others in an effort to create a stronger union, making the world a safer and healthier place to live. I made a decision to run for city council about 2 years ago to educate and equip myself for this challenge. I've attended the past 20 or so council meetings, start to finish, listening, watching, and taking notes to prepare myself for this opportunity and challenge. No others running can claim this, with the exception of the two who are running for re-election. I've really worked hard to hopefully prepare myself for this. So the question is, why you? I have a history of a strong work ethic, leadership, and a reputation of serving others before self, and a reputation of just common sense and conservatism. I have the hope to see my hometown a place where I was born and raised, educated, continue to grow in a safe and desirable atmosphere for all those who choose Asheboro as their home. Why now? Because it's an opportunity to join a new city manager, a new mayor, a new legal counsel, and 4 reassigned seats on the board. The primary vote shows that I'm on the right track for voter confidence. Please continue to show your support for my election, if you will, and I'll humbly thank you for that. And if I might quote our city manager, as he said last week, I can't change the past, but I can change the future. And I'd like to be part of that if he would so allow. We really do have a good city manager. I look forward to working with him, and hopefully with a council that can work and get together and bring all these ideas we've been talking about, bring them together. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pugh, you have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Asheboro is a pivotal point in its history. The city is experiencing significant growth and at the same time a major change in leadership. A new city manager is in place, and this election will bring a new mayor and at least 2 new members of council. With more than 40 years of experience in state and local government, including 30 years as the deputy director of the North Carolina Zoo, which in itself is a small city, and 7 years in municipal administration, I feel I should step up and give back to the city that has been my family's hometown for nearly 50 years. As a board-certified city planner with 4 decades of experience, I have the knowledge and skill to be an effective and forward-thinking member of the Asheboro City Council and to make fiscally responsible decisions on infrastructure needs, quality of life opportunities, and pressing social issues. Whatever the issue, I plan to give it my full attention, actively seek and listen to all sides involved, carefully consider the options, and do what is in the best interest of Asheboro and its residents.
Thank you, Ms. Pugh. Ms. Heath, you have 2 minutes to give your final statements.
So why me and why now? I have the experience to serve you. When I sit at the council table, I bring an extensive skill set with me. Over a 37-year career, I held a variety of leadership roles in the public and nonprofit sectors in communications and operations. I learned how to solve problems, deal with difficult realities, be a connector of people, a facilitator of processes, and a communicator in building relationships with others. That's exactly what a city council member should be doing. I'm dedicated to serving you and giving you a voice. I spend a lot of time asking questions before and after meetings. I go to every single council-related meeting. I go to the zoning and rezoning sites. I've learned about city operations being out in the field as much as I can. I listen to a lot of people, and I have the time and the energy to devote to this role, time that is increasing. I show up for you. One thing people say about me is I'm everywhere. I try to be. That's just me. I did that prior to being on council, but since I've been on council, that's made me very approachable and visible and connected with what's going on in all areas of Asheboro. I love and I am deeply invested in this community. I started coming here in 1990 when I met my now husband, Sam. He's a 1982 graduate of Asheboro High School. We got married here in 1992, and we moved back here in 2006. I currently volunteer with 9 Asheboro nonprofits. I think that shows my deep investment here. I'm not done with the work you gave me. You still tell me, as you did 4 years ago, that public safety, including the homeless issue, infrastructure needs, and growing with a purpose are most important. I think experience matters in this election. We are going to have potentially up to 5 new members of council, a new mayor. We have a lot facing us. And while I look forward to learning from new perspectives, the stability of experienced council members is essential. My only agenda is to continue to serve every single citizen and the city as a whole. I'm asking for your vote. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Mr. Cheek, you have 2 minutes to give your closing statement.
I'm Philip Cheek. I am a son of the city. Asheboro was where I was born, where I was raised, left and went to school, and came back and to serve Asheboro. I've been serving Asheboro and Randolph County since 1989, whether it was with the county as a sheriff deputy or whether it was with the state as a probation parole officer. Asheboro is where I wanted to be. Have the 4-year degree, but like I said, and it's administration of criminal justice, but Asheboro is where I wanted to be. 20 years with the Asheboro City Board of Education. Asheboro is where I want to be. I want to serve. I want to listen to the citizens of Asheboro. I want to help. I attend Greater St. John Missionary Baptist Church. Asheboro is where I want to be. Like I said, the team player, we all going to have to work together. I mean, in order to make us move forward and to make Asheboro better, we got to move together as a team to move together. Because with all the ones that has going to be going off, it's a lot of experience that's going to be leaving us. And we have to be willing to work and listen to each other and work through these things. All I'm asking for is for the Asheboro citizens to give me another opportunity to serve Asheboro City and make it the best it can be. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McCluskey, you have 2 minutes for your final statements.
Thank you to Randolph Community College for hosting us. And thank you to this audience that's here tonight and those that are watching and their engagement in this election, because it's showing how important this is. I also want to say thank you to everybody that's up here right now and those who have been up here and their engagement and wanting to be a part of Asheboro's future. And based on what I've heard tonight, I'd be honored to serve with any of them, with one city, one team, and one goal. Now, why me and why now? That's because this is about competence, it's about discipline, it's about follow-through. City Council's first job is the stewardship of your money. I sign paychecks, I manage P&Ls, I've made payroll in good months and very, very lean months. And I know how to say no, I know how to face projects, and I know how to make every dollar work twice. As a former educator and a current small business owner, I've written grants, I've tracked outcomes, and I've delivered. Running downtown businesses have taught me how great things can be when things are working well and how terrible they can be when they're not. I've hired, I've trained, I've promoted local people, I've partnered with our schools, other businesses and organizations. I've led local, state, and statewide industry groups in job creation. Now, As a dad of a preteen, I've been told I don't have all the answers. Also, as a dad of a preteen, I'm learning how to listen better. Common sense, collaboration, and clear expectations will guide me as your next city council member, just as they have on boards I've served on before. If you want steady hands, practical solutions, and a neighbor who's invested in this community, who's accessible and accountable, I'm your guy. I'm Joel McCloskey. I'm ready to serve on city council. I'm ready to be your voice, and I'd be honored to earn your vote.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. So we will go ahead and transition now. You may take your items, and we will bring up our mayor candidates as soon as we switch over. Oh, Joel. Okay, we're just about ready to get started again. All right, so now we will move to our Asheboro mayoral candidates. We have Eddie Burks, who's closest to me, a lifelong Randolph County resident, currently serves on the Asheboro City Council, a marketing professional. He founded the Burks Agency and formerly served as Franklinville mayor from 1987 to 1989. And then on the far end, Joey Trogdon is a lifelong Asheboro resident and current city council member. He is a contractor, broker, and business owner whose late father, Joe Trogdon, served as mayor of Asheboro from 1983 until 2001. And so now I will turn it back to Mr. McLaughlin, our moderator, who will begin the Q&A.
All right. Mr. Trogdon, the first question goes to you. The challenge of funding has been a hot topic during the recent candidate forums. As mayor, how will you work with the city council to grow the budget?
Well, I would like to say that the group before me did a good job of outlining a lot of possibilities that are out there, and I appreciate them for it. We can make our job easier, getting off the ground and getting everybody on the loop. You know, when you talk about growing a budget, or in a business, or you talk about increasing revenue, a lot of times you look at cutting overhead or non-essential spending, or you reduce services, or, you know, and then there's always the debate about advertising. Do I advertise or do I not? Do I cut that or not? Anyway, you can't do that in the city because services have to continue regardless. And we do, and I've said it, we need to create additional revenue streams. Without being redundant, I will say there's several things we need to do, or we can do, is improve efficiency, evaluate procedures, and explore technology for solutions. Economic development, which everybody has touched on, more taxes, expands the tax base, creates jobs. Public-private partnerships, where they make sense and is in favor of the city. Grants. Grants are a two-way street, some payable. There's a lot of stuff, some are paybacks. You have to evaluate what the benefit is and weigh whether that's not. Loans, the only loans we have now currently are our vehicle fleet, and we can certainly borrow more money if necessary. Bigger items like a bond referendum, if we need it. I told our city manager when we hired him, Asheboro's good folks. You can tell them what you're going to do now, and they'll understand. Now, they may not like it, but they'll understand if things go up. Automation is a way. We're going to have an attrition of staff at some point. We're going to have people leaving, and I'm not suggesting we need people to leave, but that automation to take over and reduce the staff demands of the city. We can also lease unused assets. That we've got land available, we've got that type of stuff, and we could lease that and generate some more income. It's imperative from a mayor standpoint and from the city manager that all sides of a decision are explored to avoid any unexpected issues. And there'll always be some unexpected issues, but we need to wipe out or eliminate those as much as we can. To paraphrase Sir Isaac Newton, I lost my spot. Huh? For every action, there is a reaction, and for every action, there is a consequence. So we have to be thorough in our investigation. We have to be, as a unit, the mayor and the city council, and we have to make informed decisions, and we will, if we do that and we work as a team, I think we'll be able to lead Asheboro forward like we need to. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burks, your answer?
So I think this is the first time that I've ever been asked to grow a city budget. Usually we hear we're spending too much. That's usually the words that we get. But I am excited to put into action all these plans that the council candidates put before us. I think there's some good ideas out there, so we're looking forward to making those work in regards to updating our infrastructure needs of our city. And that's a thing that we've been discussing for quite a while. Paying for it, that's another matter of funding answers. They change rapidly and frequently with government. But the bottom line is it's all about jobs coming to Asheboro. We're no longer dying, we're thriving. Now, in my professional life, I've always tried to hire and surround myself with people who have greater experience, expertise, and knowledge than I can ever hope to attain. Now, concerning our budget as mayor, working with our city council, we've always utilized the talented members of our city's professional staff. We are a team. The council, the professional staff, all 350 plus city employees, and the mayor needs to be that team leader. During my 18 years on council, I've been blessed to develop positive relationships with our city staff, as well as positive relationships with our county, state, and federal government partners. See, experience matters. We're very, very fortunate to have hired, as everyone's mentioned, this spring, our city manager, Donald Duncan. This man's experience, along with his well-earned reputation as one of the sharpest managers in North Carolina, he's grown business and government relations from across the nation. Now, he will be our point person to orchestrate the necessary beginning of our quest in achieving our budgeting goals and, bottom line, bringing jobs. I, along with our department heads, have complete confidence in his abilities. In his brief tenure here, I have found a kindred spirit with a shared vision for the future success and growth of Asheboro. With every decision on council, I've always tried to set a benchmark of 20 years down the road for my vision for this city that I love. I, along with some of our current and past members, we've developed some really good ideas over the years to improve the quality of life and attracting businesses to our city. Now, I would go to former manager John Ogburn, and we always have these good ideas, and John had a wonderful way of making our good ideas great ideas. And more importantly, he can make those great ideas come to fruition. Donald Duncan, if allowed to do his job, and with the help of a mayor with vision, who only guides and rarely gets a vote, and with a strong council, we will grow that budget as it was phrased in the question. Bottom line, it's about jobs. Jobs grow the budget. No doubt we'll have planning sessions to prioritize first steps and adjustments needed, and we will become more of a regional player in meeting the water needs of our rapidly growing state. We must make certain that our role is a strong one.
Thank you. Mr. Burks, we'll also start with you for question 2. Given today's political divisions, how would you promote teamwork and unity on the City Council to best serve Asheboro residents, business owners, and community partners?
Well, it all begins with communication. Good communication starts with good listening skills. Mayor Pro Tem Walker Moffitt, at times he mentioned this as a hallmark of my demeanor, as he would encourage me sometimes to serve as our next mayor. Esse quam videre, to be rather than to seem. That's our state motto. I think Popeye phrased it better when he said, I am what I am. I hope that everyone knows me, and they'll confirm that I am the same smart, funny, hardworking, caring, good-looking public servant and Christian in every environment and setting where I'm found. I do wear many hats in our community, and I hope that you'll agree that I am consistently the same individual no matter the uniform, the chair, or on which side of the table I'm seated. That's an essential step in team building. I've been serving our city for quite a while, and yes, we usually know the party affiliations of council members, but we don't have a history of decisions being made based on political divisions. Most of the issues with which we are faced are not social issues. Potholes, sewer lines, sidewalks, garbage trucks, fire engines, they're usually not nonpartisan, or they're usually nonpartisan. We could have the largest shakeup in council members since we started doing this 4-3 split many years ago. As I've already discussed, council members and the mayor are a team. Each candidate's vying for council are people with whom I already have relationships. All things considered, this is still a small town. I believe that the makeup of our team has the best interest of our city of Asheboro at heart. With that, the unity of the team is really already there. Yes, we'll have that one issue concern, but maturing council members will develop quickly to see the big picture. An experienced mayor can help guide those new members, share that vision. Mayor with a good listening skills and compassion for the city's well-being, a mayor with a lifelong commitment to helping our most vulnerable citizens, a mayor with decades-long commitment to growing small businesses into larger businesses, a mayor with a real history of creating and nurturing award-winning teams will serve our council and all our citizens well. I'm confident that I'm that man. And thanks for not laughing too loud when I said I was good-looking and that positive trait thing.
Thank you, Mr. Burks. Mr. Chogden, your answer?
The question itself is, how would you promote teamwork and unity? At the very beginning, once it's all over and we're all together, I'll go back to the point that I've made several times. Some of y'all heard this, and some of you asked. This is a nonpartisan election. There is no party affiliation. Now, I know and you know that there's some party stuff that goes on, but I'm running to represent everyone, and I don't care about a letter after somebody's last name. So when you come into the council, new council, when you come in, you will come in as a new member of the Asheboro City Council, not an affiliated member. And your job, and according to Donald Duncan, who's gotten a lot of reference here, you will have a 24/7 part-time job. It doesn't pay a whole lot. But whatever you do, your actions will reflect on the city and the citizens that elected you. And it's important to always keep that in mind, because wherever you are in the community, you are representing Asheboro, and you were elected to do that. And so you don't want to cast any bad light on us. I'd encourage the council to listen. It's what you signed up for. A lot of times folks are upset, but they're simple problems with simple fixes. It's always not the big issues. So answer your phone when they call. It's okay to disagree and debate and share your differing opinions. What John Ogburn said when he was city mayor, he told me, once your vote is complete, it's over. And when the meeting is over, it stays in the council chamber. We must explore everybody, we must explore the multiple angles. When we're passing an ordinance, a zoning thing and everything like that, we need to know what's going to result. If we do this, then what if? Everyone has different strengths on the council, and we need to identify them and use them when it becomes necessary. Mine's in the building background. We got a lot of building coming up, so I would hope I'll be used quite a bit on that. I would plan to be involved. I always tell them too, do your homework. You owe it to your fellow councilmen to be prepared and ready. The city staff prepares all the information, and you owe it to them to be ready, and most of all, you owe it to all the citizens of Asheboro who elected you to be ready and respond. I always tell folks that, I want to interject that the city does a lot of things for a lot of people, and don't assume the city knows what's going on, like a pothole, or your garbage didn't get picked up. Call somebody and tell them, and they'll remedy it. And if that doesn't remedy it, then call us, and we'll remedy it. Anyway, I think that the mayor can have a lot of influence. I've had some people not concerned, but asked me about leaving the council position. And those of you who know me, this will come as no surprise. I will continue to ask questions, and I will share my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trogdon. You will now have 2 minutes to give your closing statements.
First, I'd like to thank RCC for having us. It was very nice of you to do. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Your interest in the municipal goings-on of Asheboro are greatly appreciated. Sometimes we have an empty chamber unless there's a big zoning issue up there, so I'm glad to see the folks here tonight. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I am not a politician. I'm running to represent everyone. I have lived in Asheboro my entire life. I graduated from Asheboro High School and NC State. I'm a general contractor. I started when I was 12 years old. I rode trash trucks in the summers and then after 2 weeks after graduating from college, I swept floors. That was to get my thinking right, whatever that meant. So, I'm used to working off of plans, and they say failure to plan is a plan to fail. All I know is we have big challenges ahead that will require significant planning and discipline to stay on course and in budget. This is a challenge we face every day in the construction business. And if you're going to be successful, you've got to stay on task. So tonight, I'm asking you to put my experience to work for you and for Asheboro and elect me mayor of Asheboro. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burks, you have 2 minutes to give your final statements.
Righty, so back in 2007, when I first got elected to city council, shortly after that, the Forbes article hit, and I had an uncle in Canada call me up and he said, "What in the world have you gotten yourself into?" And I said, "Uncle Gordy, I think I've gotten myself into an opportunity to help." Well, then a few years ago, when I was reelected to my 5th four-year term on council, I sincerely had no intention at all of serving as mayor. When Mayor Smith would mention my consideration of serving as mayor, I'd always deflect his encouragement with, "I've already been a mayor one time." And he'd always counter, "But this is a real town." He probably did the same to you, didn't he? For those who don't know, if you didn't get a program, 26, I was elected to be the mayor of Franklinville, and I achieved some great success there without a professional staff. Don't try that on your own. It pales in comparison with the education I've received over the past 18 years of serving on council. Experience matters. As a man of faith, I truly believe that if God wants me to serve as mayor, that's exactly where I'll be. And if not, well, I'll be wherever he needs me to be. The only thing I'm worried about is not me, it's about my city. I'm concerned about limited vision for our city and meeting the needs of our 28,000 citizens. Yes, experience matters. Simply showing up consistently and helping with heavy lifting determines who leads. My experience on council is equally as important as decades of experience in serving leadership roles in Asheboro's civic and philanthropic organizations, and I've already gotten the sign that I have too much on my page to list here. So look here, we've all been campaigning a whole lot, been a whole lot of politicking. We've heard the pronoun I a lot. Now, we got to let the politicking stop once the election's over, and that's when the governing begins. We're all friends here. All right, now thank you to all the citizens and to RCC for allowing me the opportunity to serve and be here.
Thank you.
Well, let's give all of our candidates one more round of applause, please. Excellent. Before you leave, I want to thank all of our candidates for participating. I want to thank all of you that attended in person, all of our virtual audience, of course, that tuned in on YouTube. And I want to make sure that you do visit the tables on the way out where the candidates have their information. A couple of quick announcements about things that will be happening at RCC in the near future. We have the President's Advisory Council November 11th, and the tree lighting ceremony, the annual tree lighting ceremony, will be December 2nd. So we have information up on our calendars, and we'll be putting out more information about these things in the near future. So again, thank you for coming tonight. We really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great evening. Thank you.